This is the Year of Raging Winds, an actual play RPG podcast about a makeshift crew seeking adventure and profit on the high seas. I'm Caleb, your host and game master, and you're about to listen to episode 2 of the show. Before we get started, I wanted to take a moment to share with you some lore from the world of Saragon. Today we're going to be talking about the Dragonbloods. There are 9 races in the world of Saragon, one for each of the 9 disciplines. Well, that's not entirely true. There are 10. But the 10th race, the Call, are a race of deformed and mad creatures that are cut off from magic entirely, and so they usually aren't considered by the other peoples of the world as relevant to the count. But, as I said, these 9 races each are tied to one of the disciplines, and their culture and heritage is bound to a pantheon of gods that has governed their growth and advancement since the beginnings of the world. In legend, each pantheon was said to choose a people from among the unwashed masses of the races of men, nurturing them and teaching them how to become great nations. The unchosen people, known in ancient myth as the godless ones, are what are now known as the Call. Where did the Dragonbloods fit into this? Well, when each pantheon chose its people, most of them shaped and changed the race subtly and over a long period of time, never moving far beyond the original form of men on Saragon. One pantheon, however, was so enthralled with the great and mighty form of the dragon that they not only changed themselves to become powerful dragons, but also shaped and twisted their people in their own image, creating the animalistic form of the Dragonblood. Reptilian in look and feel, though warm-blooded and life-bearing, most of the Dragonbloods reveled in their new shape along with their dragon masters. The great empires of the Dragonbloods, including the Zay, the Tlano, and the Roshi, were born, and spread through the southern central part of the continent, wielding powerful magic and sacrificing still-beating hearts on altars to their gods. The other races and their gods looked upon the Dragonbloods with disgust, not only because of the depravity of the empires themselves, but also the horrible twisting of form that had been done to once fair and noble men. The other 8 races joined together to wipe the Dragonblood empires off the face of the map, and mostly they succeeded. Overwhelmed by so many enemies, 2 of the old empires were wiped out completely, the most decadent and depraved of the 5, while the others survived, but only barely. The Roshi disappeared into the great southern ocean, sailing into the distance and never being seen again. The Tlano, the fiercest of the 5 empires, survived by pure strength of might, holding up in their high mountains and deep jungles, and finally abandoned by their enemies. The last of the great civilizations, the Zay, survived by, in the end, siding with their enemies. They and their gods were moved by the passion with which the other races opposed their depravity and actually repented of their grievous sins. While they did not fight alongside the other races in their crusade, they did not oppose the great armies that struck down the other empires, and isolated themselves deep in the jungles of what is now New Umhati to contemplate on what they had done and seek for restoration and change among their people. Podino, and soon-to-be-introduced Cadmail, are Zay Dragonbloods, though neither are particularly connected to their homeland or their traditions. Enslaved in their youth by the imperialistic Varudians, they are still marked by their past, and the reputation of their people still haunts their future. Today, Trevor is joining us to play Cadmail, who will be introduced shortly. Connor and Josh returned to play their characters, but Adam still wasn't able to join us yet, and Jared had to miss this session as well. Their characters are still present in the game, though anything they do will be at my direction as the game master. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Time to hear our characters' beliefs, instincts, and traits, and get back to the adventure in the Year of Raging Winds. Alrighty, we are live with Year of Raging Winds. Really excited. But yeah, let's do real quick, starting with Connor. Let's go ahead and just read, beliefs and instincts and stuff to get us started off here. But we will not read off Trevor's yet because I want to open up with that scene of Podino and Talia, Jared's character's wife, going to meet Trevor's character, and then we'll kind of introduce him from there. So
I want to kill everyone on the ship, and I will start by trying to poison everyone on board. Probably change that.
He wants to kill everyone?
Yep.
I thought it was just the...
Oh, right. Connor, we changed who you're trying to kill. It's not Trevor. It's a Tehko princess that Trevor's character is safely harboring and escorting the princess to a location. And so you're sent here specifically by the Assassin's Guild to kill that princess. But also you have your personal vendetta to just kill everybody. So first, I want to kill everyone on the ship, but I will start by trying to poison everyone on board. What are you actually going to try to do now? Since you tried poisoning and that didn't really work.
Okay, so I want to kill everyone on the ship. I will start by trying to befriend Avion's wife.
Makes sense.
I'll make sure that the princess dies, even if nobody else does. I will start by learning Cadmiel's weakness.
Definitely.
Words are more dangerous than knives. I'll make sure innocence is always on my side. Instincts, always go for the throat. Always be planning for the worst to happen. Always try to shift the blame to someone else.
Cool. What's your traits?
Desperate, tasting the lash, sea legs, exotic, cold-hearted, iron stomach, honorable, aura of innocence, and primitive.
Yep.
Some of those seem conflicting, but that's what makes it so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I changed the hardworking cultural trait that you had specified to primitive, because Trevor and I were talking about it, and we were talking about the Dragonblood stigmas, and so I realized that probably would be more of a stigma that they'd have rather than hardworking. So, all right, Jontos, our favorite ship's cook. What do you got?
Hey, that's me.
Is that going to be your accent?
I have not yet dialed it in, but
okay.
I will be experimenting.
All right, that's fine.
I want to make the best of my new situation, so I'll try to make friends with the crew. My brother has made the best of what life has given him. I will try to do the same. I will start by finding something to be better at. My brother got me this job as cook, so I'll be the best flaming cook I can be.
Instincts. I get it. It's a pun. Flaming cook.
No, not
Instincts.
Exactly.
Always look for the best in a situation. Always have a good story. If there's cooking to be done, I'll be part of it. Character traits: drunk, maggot connoisseur, crippled, unlucky, sea legs, charismatic, mercantile, light blonde hair, and determined.
All right, so let's go ahead and just start off the scene. We open up on, I believe this was the evening, correct? That this was all happening with Podino.
Yeah.
And we have the red moon of Saragon casting this dim red glow over the ocean as the ship is underway. And then the camera goes to, Podino and Talia, Avion's wife, plodding along towards the cabin in search of Cadmiel, the man in charge. You get to the cabin where, it's just assumed it's like the main cabin. Talia tells you, Podino, she's like, I think this is where he is. And then she knocks on the door. And since Trevor's not here, we cut away at that knock to Jontos. What's Jontos doing right now?
We're talking evening, right?
Yep. So the sun is just set. The moon is on the horizon.
People aren't specifically looking for food after this point. Affirmative.
Mm-mm. This is kind of like the cleanup time. You probably have a cabin boy or two helping you clean up,
scouring
dishes.
Pots,
yeah, they're washing
dishes,
the pots. Yep,
that sort of thing.
Yep. Gen has walked off to play dice with his mercenary friends. You're kind of left to your own devices. Avion is probably getting involved in that same dice game unsurreptitiously. You're just kind of left to your own devices to wash up pots and do other things in the glamorous life of a cook. Jontos, give me an observation test.
I can do that, yeah. Observation. Is it food related?
It is not food related. Trying to notice a sailor doing something. I'm going to see if you're observant.
It's being learned, so I can't fork anything in anyway.
Yes, that's true. Yep.
Graduated or base sub?
There would be an actual roll here in response. Let me roll this for you. And this is actually untrained as well. Okay.
That didn't help.
All right. So you don't notice anything as you continue just scrubbing your plots. But I think the camera definitely does, like the audience. And we see this awkward looking, like, Verudian young man busily pretending to be a sailor. Like, it's obvious to us as the audience that he's just kind of like, he's like leaning on a rail and he's like, yeah, so sailing things, like talking to someone. We can't hear what he's saying, but we can he's not saying that, but we just see his mouth moving, and like there's a sailor looking at him like a little odd, and then just kind of like walking away. He's like,
bluffing his way through it.
Yeah, and then we cut back over to Cadmail. Real quick, Cadmail, would you give us your beliefs and instincts?
Sure. My beliefs, I will make sure that the venture succeeds. I will start by bringing us to the Smuggler's Cove. I want to build a positive reputation. I will start by gaining the respect of my crew. I want to help these royals, but I can't interfere with the mission. I will find someone that I can trust to put my confidence in. So with princess and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the positive reputation is kind of want to tie into that I want to work against the generally held reputation of the Dragonbloods as being primitive and savages. Then my instincts, I always assume that people think the worst of me. As
we do.
Dragonblood. Mm-hmm. Always trust the numbers, my accounting background, math and stuff. And never let people know about my literacy. I can read, and that's not normal. So,
especially for Dragonbloods.
Yeah.
Wait, you're a Dragonblood?
Yeah, yep. So this is the thing. Like, this is the first time the audience knows who this person is, and so I think we cut to this. You hear the knock. There's a knock on your door. Real quick, give us a description of what does Cadmail look like?
Purple skin, slight of build. He's more quick and agile rather than strong. He likes to read and do math and stuff, so he's not the most fit of people, but still very fast from his days being a smuggler, mainly a loner. I also have the quiet trait. Oh, traits, yes. So I have paranoid, and then the cultural, exotic, honorable, primitive for Dragonbloods, and sea lakes and quiet.
Yeah, so we see that. What is Cadmail doing at the moment? What is he up to as you hear this knock?
I'm not sure. Have I? So I got the princess.
Yeah, I think you've gotten the princess. Yeah, stored away somewhere.
Okay, probably like last minute supply checking.
Right.
Making sure that everything's set for the voyage.
Yeah.
We just left yesterday, right? Or
this is the end of the first day.
Okay, yeah. So double checking supply stock, making sure we're all set.
Yeah. So how do you respond to the knock? You look up from your papers.
It would probably startle him. Probably absorbed in what he's doing. Probably scramble to get up and then get to the door. I don't think I have anything I need to hide or anything.
Is your monkey in the room?
Oh yeah, I have a pet monkey.
Yes.
It's a lemur, right?
Yes.
I don't actually know what lemurs sound like. It probably doesn't make any noise. It just kind of like clambers over the papers and just jumps on your shoulder.
I'll probably just toss it some food.
Is it a boy or a girl?
I don't know that I've ever bothered.
Fair enough. Yeah, so you open the door?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you see this tall, dark-haired woman with what's called a kanoba, a big like staff club thing with like studded metal across the weapon part of it. Next to her is Podino, who is, green, scaly Dragonblood, same as you. Any other way you would describe Podino, Connor?
Very mangled and scarred. He's ugly.
He's ugly.
He's been a slave his whole life, so. Does Podino wear, like, what would be considered, like, traditional native, like, feathers, like, shells, like, that kind of stuff?
No.
Okay, I was just wondering if you would, like, fulfill the stereotype in that way. Okay. Because that would be something that Cadmail would recognize right away as being very offensive, probably.
Oh, yes. I also have really fancy clothes.
Yes. Yeah, Cadmail has very fancy clothes.
On them.
Yeah, so, Podino, what was the reason that you and Talia were going to Cadmail's quarters again? I can't remember.
I was coming down because I wanted to kill him. But
right, but then you told her Or she saw you, and okay, so she thought you looked suspicious, and you passed it off as you were concerned about Avion's well-being. Okay. So yeah.
You're just gonna murder everyone? You don't,
Yeah.
right away? Not even, gaining trust or anything?
Oh, no, I mean, that's why I was coming. That was my first step to coming down there. And I was gonna figure out your weak points. But no, I wasn't gonna, flat out kill you. But my end goal is, I'm gonna kill you someday.
All right.
Sorry if that offended.
Yeah, so you see this woman, and she kind of glances at Podino real quick, and then just glances back at you, and she says, "Everything going all right? We haven't seen you on deck yet." And you know who this is. This is, Avion's wife, so you've met her before.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. It's going good. Yes, thank you.
And she kind of looks past you into the room, just checking the charts.
Yeah, okay. Also, another thing, too. He's probably checking the numbers, but he's also trying to go over what he's going to say and stuff. So, first impression.
Right. Okay.
He's
definitely
all nervous about that.
Yeah. So, she looks past you and asks, working on charts, or?
Yes, yeah. Last minute supplies, charts and stuff, just making sure everything is set for the voyage. Yeah,
so this is the thing, I don't think she knows you well enough to know that the nervousness is not from just the way you are. And so she's just super suspicious. She's like, why are you so nervous? What is going on here? And so she just kind of pushes past you into the room if you let her.
I'd probably put up a little bit of a resistance, but she doesn't seem like one who'd, if she pushes her way in, I'm not gonna.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and that's what happens. Yeah. You offer a little bit of resistance, and she just pushes you away.
She's not one to resist. Let's put it that way.
I'm busy. I'm busy at the moment, but okay.
Yeah, so she just looks over your charts. I don't actually know if she knows how to read. Let's check this real quick. No, she totally does not know how to read. She was once a slave and was rescued by Jared's character, and then they fell in love and got married.
Isn't that a cute love story? Kind of like Beauty and the Beast.
What?
You're
not
gonna
at all.
Murder them, Connor. You're gonna murder them.
Yep. No problem with that.
Does that make you Gaston?
Wait, what?
Yes.
You're just a much more subtle Gaston.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what she does is she looks over all of the papers, and there's a pregnant pause where she's just looking over this stuff and has this look of consternation on her face, and then she just looks at you and she says, "Well, carry on then." And she doesn't really want to admit to the fact that she can't read, but she's just cool. She looks to Podino for kind of reassurance, yeah, back me up here. We're here together. We thought he was being suspicious. Help me out. I don't really know what to say right now. Can you read? All of that passes in a look.
It's a girl. That's what she thinks passes in a look.
Exactly. Yeah. You definitely get the say something out of that.
I'd probably inquire as to who Podino is. I don't think I've met him.
Nope,
yet.
You haven't. He was a last minute addition to Avion's retinue.
All right. Be it's good to see another Dragonblood on board. My name's Cadmail. Nice to meet you.
Podino, Cadmail is a native name, whereas Podino is not. And Cadmail, you recognize that as well. Podino is a name from the Verudian culture, so.
Cadmail was actually, it's my last name, so I'll introduce myself with both names.
No,
Cadmail Rosos.
Rosos is the Verudian last name, is the Verudian name. Cadmail is the native name.
Yes.
So yeah, you introduce yourself as Cadmail Rosos. Podino?
Yeah, no, I shake your hand. Yes, it is good to see another Dragonblood. Forgive the intrusion. We are bodyguards. We just wanted to make sure that everything was okay down here. Because you hadn't been on board. We just want to make sure that, you actually made it on board.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. I just tend to get absorbed in my work sometimes, so.
That was our optimistic feeling.
Optimistic feeling? Okay.
As in, that was their expectation optimistically.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so Salaya just is well, good work then. I'll let you know if Avian wants to see you. You should maybe come out of the cabin eventually.
Yes, I don't think I've He probably hasn't eaten yet. So I'll
Okay, so let's actually say your stomach growls at that moment. And she says,
Yes.
there is a little bit of stew left if you want. It wasn't too bad.
That would actually be pretty great. I haven't eaten since we've departed.
Were you implying that she like go get it for you? Because she definitely wasn't implying that. She was implying like, hey, go up and get some. But if you were like trying to imply that, I think that would be an awesome, awkward moment of like this, oh, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He did, and then they probably started walking off to go to the kitchen halls, and he just stayed there and then realized, and then they stopped and looked back.
Right, yeah. Yep, that definitely happens.
Yeah, I'll come with you.
Perfect.
I suppose I have to leave.
That's so good. Oh, that's great. Yeah, because Talia she's not a servant, like, not anymore at least. Like, she's pretty independent. Yeah, so you guys go ahead and go out. Well, how are you, like, reacting, Cadmail, as you, like, walk out and see your crew? You know, you just see some sailors lounging about. The ship is slowly, plodding onward. You see a couple of mercenaries, and they have this symbol of, like, a white cross, like, and a patch on their uniforms. Those are the mercenaries that you hired.
Okay. Well, he'd probably be just trying his best to stay calm and greet everyone, to stay stoic, but
Definitely.
maybe a few little nervous voice cracks when he says hello to people.
And I think everyone's just looking at you like,
carrying on.
Who are you? Like,
Trevor? You're playing me. IRL.
Also kind of me too. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, so I think there is this moment, Cadvale, where you see Adam's character, and you know who that is. And
Adam's not playing tonight.
Adam's not playing tonight, but his character is on board, and he'll come into more prominence next week.
I go kill him.
No,
He's defenseless. Get it done, Connor.
Yep.
His player character.
hey, I have a persona point I could spend for him to not die. So
I have one too. I mean,
that doesn't mean you can make him not die. But yeah, there's this moment, Cadmail, where like Iris comes up to you and it's like, "Oh, hello," and does this very awkward, like pretending to be a sailor, like, "Hey there, Captain," like, and you're not the captain,
Not
but
the
like,
captain.
yeah.
Sailor.
He's like, right. Good job keeping the crew together. You're gonna have a speech, right? Like Avion?
A speech? Maybe.
Cool. And then he just kind of like walks off.
You mean our supply and consumption briefings? I suppose. That counts.
Do you like mutter that to yourself as he leaves?
Yeah, probably.
Great. Yeah, so you make your way to the kitchen. John Toast, you have like probably like the leftover stew kind of simmering in this smaller pot just there, for someone to, come and get the leftovers out if they want. You probably were told specifically, hey, keep that going for Cadmail. And so, yeah, the three of them walk in.
I would have noticed that he wasn't there for dinner either.
Mm-hmm.
I would have kept tabs on who was on duty. And
Yeah.
generally paid attention to who was eating my food and who wasn't.
So those three walk in. What do you say, John Toast?
Good evening to you. What can I get for you? You weren't to dinner, were you?
Yeah, and I think
I'm John
Talia.
Toast.
I think Talia kind of like steps back, like, "All right, Cadmail, you can talk to this person. Like, I'm out here for stew, so."
Oh yes, it's nice to meet you. I'm Cadmail Rosos. I'm heading up the logistics of the mission here.
So you're the one who writes the checks then?
I coordinate the pay, but ultimately it's
Well, I suppose you'll be hungry then. Got some stew left on the stove? Here, let me get you a bowl.
Thank you.
Dish him up
That
a
would be great.
extra large bowl of stew.
I'm not sure how much I'll eat, but
Shove a big bowl of stew into your arms.
thanks.
Podino, what are you doing during this time?
probably just wherever what's her name is, like on guard. Like I'm wherever. Like, so if she's on one door, I'm on the other door.
Sure. There's only one door, but I like your thoughts.
Yeah.
Are you like working with her, or
Yes.
so you're supposedly you're working as one of the bodyguards then? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
Catmail, sir, is this your first voyage?
No, it's actually not. I've been working on ships for quite a while now. Actually, since I was born.
Really? Which ship were you born on?
I don't remember the
What was it
name.
called? What month were you born?
I love this.
Probably born on a slave ship, actually.
Probably.
Now that I think about it.
Probably.
So
It's a very uncomfortable question to ask. And I think Talia knows that about you, and so she just like gets really red when Jonto says that.
luckily, I'm already purple. So
I mean, you're probably flicking your tongue, right? Like that's
or whatever the nervous, or embarrassed reaction is.
So at this point, I've just asked him about his origins, and he hasn't answered.
right.
Oh yes, he would
So
probably just nervously say that he was. I was born on a ship. Yes.
a fine place to be born. My brother again, he was born in the November death. Terrible storm raging outside. Kind of reflects his temperament, you know what I'm saying? Now me, I was born at firstborn, and you're a sunny disposition and all that. You know, the month you're born in says a lot about your life. I knew a captain of a ship once. Now, he was born in high wind. That man never slowed down. We just sailed and sailed so many voyages. No one got off the ship for months at a time. We all nigh went crazy. 4 men jumped overboard claiming they were seeing mermaids. Somebody had to be tied to the mast because he was still afraid of the dolphins. That was a voyage to remember.
I am drawn to this story, and I walk over and I say,
It's mermaids, women with bodies like fish. They say if a mermaid sings to you, your brain melts and you die right there.
And Talia just like does one of these like like
No, it's true. I've not seen him, but I've heard tales of those who have.
right. And then she kind of just walks out. She's like, Podino, watch Cadmail for me, and then just leaves.
Cadmail would probably chime in with like, "Oh yes, there's actually been 74 recorded accounts of mermaid sightings this year, actually."
And you just hear this like men as Talia leaves.
Oh, 74, you say? I would assume that's a little bit bigger than 7, right?
Yes.
And that's more than I've ever
Generally
heard
considered to be larger than 7.
All I hear is 7, and I know 7. 7 is 2 hands with 3 fingers missing. 7 is 2 hands with 3 fingers missing. You know, I knew a sailor like that once. Couldn't tie a knot to save his life. Literally, he tried. Was up in the rigging during a storm one night, putting down the sails, and he had tied his own safety rope, something the captain never let him do. But he did it anyway, and wind blew, and away he sailed, taking the flag with him, just blown away in the wind. We never did find him.
Wow. Yeah.
And then Gen walks into the room at that point. He's like, "We found the flag, though."
Aye, that we did. Hanging from a tree in the middle of an island. Teeny little island in the middle of nothing else.
I guess Gen would probably have a little bit of a Scottish accent as well. And so yeah, he walks in and he's like, Mr. Rosos, nice to see you. I haven't seen you since you signed our checks.
Yes, it's nice to see you too. Do I remember?
Nope,
who
you have no idea who this guy is. He did ask you for permission to bring the cook aboard, but it's up. Okay, I guess it's up to you whether or not you remember him.
Sailor?
But it might not have been memorable enough for you because I'm imagining your character is being pretty scatterbrained a lot too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yes. Remind me of your name again. What's?
Oh, it's Gen, Mr. Rosas. Gen.
Gen.
I'm Jontos' brother. Remember, I asked you if he work as a cook.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry. I've been a little overwhelmed lately.
Oh no, totally understandable.
Start of the voyage and stuff.
Totally understandable, Mr. Rosas. Just wanted to let you know, the The men are wondering whether or not you are going to show your face, talk to them at all. I was told that you're a big part of getting this expedition underway, and Mr. Volus was saying that you were going to give some sort of a big announcement or something. Kind of keep the troops going.
Mr. Volus, he gave a good speech earlier.
Yes, he really did.
Mr. Volus, is that
that's Jared's character.
Okay. Yeah, he's probably pushing Cadmail.
Definitely. Yep.
Like, oh yeah, he's gonna give speeches and party and no, thank you.
Yep.
No. Yes, yeah. I do plan on addressing the crew sometime soon here.
Now you know, I was on a ship one time and the captain stood up in front of the whole ship and he gave a speech, but he didn't really know how to talk. Every third or fourth word he stopped and said, And it was so distracting. Half the crew just sort of stood there and drooled. And pretty soon, on every third word when it was all of us just sort of started chuckling, rolled through the crowd in the most hilarious manner just to listen to it. And we go,
That's not gonna help.
Exactly. and then there's this moment of pause, I think, and then Gen like claps you on the back, Cadmail, and says, "I'm sure you'll do great," and then just like says, "All right," and then leaves.
Yeah.
You'll do fine. You'll do fine.
Yeah, so I think we probably just cut away there, and we.
Wait, no, I got a line to,
go ahead. Yeah,
to close it off with. You just flew away.
What?
He's referring to the story of earlier. He's like, he just flew away. Awesome. So let's cut there for our first break and come back and see what amazing speech Cadmail is going to give to the troops. All right, we'll be back in just a little bit. Stick around. We got more Burning Wheel to come.
We have a new cast of characters, and as such, new skills for the players to work with. Let's do a quick rundown of some of the things that can be done with these new skills to get us acquainted with our characters a bit more. Accounting is the skill used to keep track of expenses, income, stocks, and taxes. This skill is primarily used to recover taxed resources and has various obstacles such as Ob 1 to calculate taxes for a single income, Ob 2 to maintain a family's income, scaling up all the way to Ob 10 to balance a nation's books. Trevor's character Cadmail is an expert in accounting and can use the skill to help the venture's profit to be counted and allocated correctly. Appraisal is another skill of Cadmail's and is used to judge the value or worth of certain items such as jewelry, gems, artwork, and antiquities. The appraisal skill can be used by a player before testing his resources to ensure that he is getting an accurate price. With different obs for different types of items, Cadmail can use this skill to assess the value of any goods the crew comes upon. Cooking is an essential part of Year of Raging Winds, as Jontos seeks to prove himself as the ship's cook. Cooking is used to prepare meat, veggies, and grains for yummy consumption, or not so yummy consumption as the case may be. Obstacles usually scale from 1 to 5, from a simple meal for 1 to cooking something exotic and important. Avion Volus is trained in falconry and can use his trained hunting bird to help out the venture. Falconry is a very popular and expensive sport among Garrick nobility of all stripes. Obstacles can include a falconry contest between 2 falconers, or capturing small game as an Ob 1 test, spotting or signaling with an Ob 2 test, and at Ob 3, falconry can be used to dispatch a message. Forgery is another skill in Cadmail's arsenal, and is the ability to copy documents, signatures, and seals flawlessly. It can be used to merely mimic document style or handwriting in a lower obstacle range, up to perfectly duplicating signatures, handwriting, or stamps and seals in the higher range. While the character is never discussed on screen, the ship's pilot has the important duty of guiding the ship through storm and calm. The pilot skill can be used to stay the course through the most terrible gale. Obstacles scale upwards through more dangerous seas. Later on in the campaign, we'll meet a character who has the dangerous skill, Poisonous Platitudes. Whisperers with this skill use compliments and ingratiation like an assassin uses knives and poisoned barbs. This skill combines persuasion and soothing platitudes into one unholy mess. It is based on the hatred emotional attribute, and tests with the skill are automatically open-ended. Obstacles are usually the will of the victim. Another important skill that most of our characters have at least some familiarity with is seamanship. Seamanship covers all the basic knowledge and skills, short of actual sailing, necessary to survive on board a boat or ship: stowing, cleaning, mending shipboard paraphernalia, and water discipline. Obstacles increase for a more complicated ship. Other skills like knots and rigging are certainly important to a sailing ship, but they aren't in focus as much during the campaign. Lastly, the skill strategy games is mentioned from time to time, as Avion and Gen play their games of chess during the lazy afternoons aboard the three-legged falcon. A character with the strategy game skill is well versed in games of strategy popular to his region. Gameplay was rather common in the Middle Ages, but this character has developed a knack and skill for it. Obstacles are usually a versus test between two opponents. That's all from the rulebook for now. If you're more interested in the game, I'd suggest picking up a copy of The Burning Wheel. It's a great tabletop role-playing game, and we all highly recommend it. Let's get back to the action, in the Year of Raging Winds.
We're back with the Burning Wheel. Yeah, we cut to Cadmail standing in front of the crew.
I was thinking if it's like a late night thing, he might have had a couple too many drinks to try and psych himself up for it.
Okay, so what we get then is Cadmail standing in front of everybody. There's silence. And everybody's kind of like standing around, like looking at each other, like, is he going to say anything? And then we get a flashback. And then Cadmail's just sort of drinking wine, downing some wine. And then we cut back and he's just like staring at everybody. Cut back again, like throwing the wine bottle away.
Like writing out.
Right, yeah.
Ripping them up.
Spilling the wine on the notes. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, so let's go ahead and make a roll. I mean...
Oh, a roll? Wait,
yeah.
I don't have any oratory skills.
Exactly.
Why would you have oratory skills?
That's why this is going to be very great. I think I'm going to have Avion offer you a helping dice. Not necessarily to like get up there and help you do the speech or anything like that, but to kind of like be among
kind of a thing.
Well, yeah, encouragement probably beforehand, and then maybe like being among the sailors and like saying things maybe in response to what you're saying, like to people next to him, like stuff like that. Going amongst the crowd.
Giving me an introduction too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, sure. Yep, he can do that as well. So he'll give you a happy dice, so you at least have one bonus dice there. Because it's a skill that you don't have, you can't fork anything into it. And it's the base will of everyone in the crowd. So that is 3. Unfortunately, because you are doing it untrained, that's going to double to 6. But so what's your intent here?
I don't know. Is it just like an introduction of like, hey, or is it like a briefing? I mean,
probably both.
If it's like a late night thing, I don't know if it's really going to be like a serious briefing of here's what we're doing, here's how it's going.
And again, like that, I think that's what it is. I think maybe because you guys are all like heading off this expedition, it's the first day. There's probably been some drinking already as a kind of like a celebration kind of thing, and so people have just been like lounging around deck, hanging out, kind of a thing. You're underway. They're keeping up the bare minimum of maintenance and steering and all that stuff that they need to keep it going, but they're not super serious about it.
So Trevor, where are you right now?
He's standing in front of a crowd.
Where on the ship, though?
Either at the prow or the aft. Both of those are elevated platforms that you could probably stand on and talk to people from.
Yeah, well, one of those, wherever the majority of the people would be.
Sure. Yeah, let's just go ahead and say you're on like the front subdeck towards the front of the ship, looking at everybody else. So there's not a wheel to get in your way or anything like that. You're standing on this raised platform where everybody else is kind of like lounging on the deck, hanging out. You are now standing in front of the crowd. So make a steal test to see if you hesitate longer than you should.
Hey.
Cool. Let's see how well this speech goes. Put the obus 3 and it will double to 6. Unfortunately, you didn't get any 6s, so you can't do that. So what does this look like, Trevor? You don't hesitate too long, but what happens when Cadmail starts talking? What goes wrong? Avion gives you an introduction. He's like, all right there, chaps. It's a great night for living and for drinking. And here to lighten your spirits even more, my good friend, Cadmail Rosos, the brains behind the expedition, and the man who, using my money, wrote all of your checks. And then he steps off.
Okay, here's what happens.
Sure.
He gets up there. He starts good with his introduction, like Cadmail and stuff. Maybe it's a little bit off, but he's doing good. And then he sees Josh. He sees John Toast, and he remembers the story of the captain. He said
then
all the time.
And then he realizes how many times he's
starts saying
Yep. Oh, that's so good. And then it just degenerates into a bunch of ums. And I think what happens actually is Gen and some of the mercenaries, like they start snickering to each other because Gen has like probably told them the story.
And then after he realizes that, he quick finishes up and sits down.
And everybody, there's this moment of pause and no one is inspired very much at all. And then everybody just kind of like a light clap. And then it slowly just melds back into like loitering around and drinking and talking to each other. And everybody just kind of tries to ignore the fact that even happened.
We'll probably end with a half-hearted cheer, like, thanks everyone.
Right, yeah. Thanks everyone. She like, drinks more. Everybody else like kind of like awkwardly toasts, and then he sits down. What is Podino doing during this speech time?
I am with Avion's wife. What's her name again?
Talia.
I'm with Talia. I basically want to show her that I'm capable of
being a bodyguard.
Yeah. And so I'm like, look at that person there, and just doing stuff like that, asking for her opinion on stuff.
Okay, so are you trying to like specifically like befriend her?
I mean, I don't know what in the world I would roll for that. I'm just trying to gain her respect. What I'm trying to do is prove to her that I am trying to do my best here.
Acting? Would it be acting?
I think it might be acting.
I have that skill.
You do not have that skill. So you can make an acting test. Acting is based on perception, so you have less of that. What do you know? You failed, and you have no 6s. Podino tries to look like a bodyguard. She is not convinced by your acting. I don't think she's like necessarily like suspicious of you like pretending to be something you're not or anything like that, because she just thinks you're trying to do a good job and you're not. And so she just goes over and like corrects you, basically, does like, hey, like you should be watching that exit, like that kind of stuff. And she doesn't do it in a like you're horrible at this kind of way. She's just like, dude, pay attention.
This is working completely and utterly my plan.
It really is.
Well, good. Each and every one of us are dead.
He's the newbie that's trying too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not the killer that's trying to kill everybody. Because clearly I'm not competent enough to do so.
Clearly.
I apologize to Avion's wife.
Okay, yeah, obviously, yeah.
I was distracted. I apologize.
Okay, so I feel like there would be a falsehood roll here now to see if you can convince her of the fact that you were failing because you're just incompetent, not because you're pretending to be incompetent. So if you want to roll that, I think it's already on you being learned. Yeah, you convince her.
Yay!
Yeah, so we cut to the next day, I think. The voyage is on their way. Let's go ahead and say that the cove is right here. And you kind of, go around that little tip and then over to the north. That's where the Smuggler's Cove is. You're going to go there, and then you're just going to continue up the coast towards Lucerta. So it will take you probably a few weeks to get there. But Jontos, why don't you go ahead and make breakfast for everybody?
All right. Principally, biscuits and hardtack is what people ate on ships.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, I mean,
probably just for breakfast, most of the crew would just get
but
some
this
water.
is the first day, Well, this is while we still have fresh stuff, so.
It's true. I mean, but is breakfast a significant meal? I mean,
True, I don't think it was really. You just
That's fine. Yeah, let's just say lunch then. Yeah.
Grab some food as you start your day.
First meal that you're cooking. So
Sure, it's going to be a luncheon, dinner thing. I probably also am keeping track of food for the rich people who are going to want more than just biscuits and hardtack.
yeah, it's true. I mean, you might be making like a special meal for, Avion and Cadmail and as well. But okay, let's actually go ahead and say that's it. It's breakfast for Cadmail, Avion, Talia, Podino. Probably maybe a few of the mercenaries asked for breakfast. We're making a special breakfast for them.
Okay. Yeah, we could just say eggs.
Sure.
And so something like boiled eggs with some kind of a...
How old are pancakes?
I'm not sure, but I've got a story about pancakes.
Archaeological evidence suggests that pancakes are probably the earliest and most widespread cereal food eaten in prehistoric societies.
Whoa.
Well,
You
there we
can
go.
make pancakes then.
Make some kind of a flapjack pancake.
Yeah.
With some boiled eggs and maybe some fresh fruit while we still have it fresh,
Mm-hmm.
sliced so that it can be put on the pancakes, and just essentially a light meal.
Mhm.
So cooking roll, I'm going to fork in fire building, knives. I think that's pretty much everything I can fork in right now. I mean, I'm not really doing any meat in the food, so I can't do any mystery meat wise.
True. Make an ob-2 again. It's not like a mass meal.
All right.
Oh, look, you failed another cooking roll. The stakes are raised again.
This is rather annoying because anytime I fork stuff in to actually succeed on tests, then I end up with
a lesser test. Yeah.
a routine test and I can't advance. Vicious cycle.
Yeah. So
Probably.
So what does this look like? Do you burn the eggs?
I would say that I probably overcooked the pancakes and they're weird. And I overcooked the eggs and they're tough, which is never a good sign for eggs. But I did an immaculate job cutting the strawberries.
Okay.
Because
Fair enough.
I have actually skill in knives.
Yep.
There's really beautiful strawberries on top of the burned eggs. And
Awesome.
pancakes.
So
All right.
Podino and Cadmail, what is your response to the meal? It does not taste very good. But the strawberries are good.
Well, Cadmail's actually probably super hungover because
Fair enough.
he ran off and gorged himself in liquor to forget his speech.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
I don't think he really cares what he eats right now.
Okay, fair
He's
enough.
Just
Podino?
trying to deal with the hangover.
Yeah, well, like, how do you respond? The meal isn't very great.
I don't care, honestly.
Yeah, you're a
Focus
slave.
on everything else.
You're a slave. You've eaten worse. I think what you hear, Jontos, while you're like serving the food and all that stuff, and people are taking the preliminary bites, you hear one or two of the mercenaries like complaining, like under their breath. But then Gen like slaps one of them, like bumps him. He's like, "Hey, that's my brother you're talking about."
Probably going to, as I walk past him, just put my hand on his shoulder, like, dude, don't defend me here. Don't stick your neck out for me.
Mm-hmm.
If they, don't make them hate me because I'm your brother and hate you in extension.
Right. Yeah. I think Talia makes an effort to like smile at you, like a kind of almost like a grimace, like it was good. Like
You're trying, and I really want to be nice, but this is awful. Even though she's suspicious of everybody.
yeah, and I think she actually makes an effort of like, especially you guys notice this, like while she's eating, she's very careful, very ladylike. Like you can tell that she's attempting to do this. She is actually wearing a dress right now. It's like a summer dress. So it's not like super fancy. It's just kind of like a, like a simple dress, but she seems to be making quite an effort to like look nice and ladylike this morning. And so she's eating her food very ladylike, playing the noblewoman part this morning. And so, she gives you that little grimace smile, like, it's okay, servant, like kind of a thing, like practicing her noblewoman's like flattery.
I give a cheapish compliment to Avion and his wife about how they look today.
You mean sheepish, I'm imagining? Not cheapish?
Yeah.
Okay.
I compliment Avion's hair and then just her dress.
So I think when you do that, that's the moment where like she realizes what she's doing and she kind of like frowns a little bit and she's like sets down her fork and she's like, she looks around like, is there anything I should be aware of happening around me? Because she realizes, you're the other bodyguard. And so she realizes, oh, right, I have a job. And then she like looks around and then Avion like puts his hand on her hand and she's like, it's fine. Like, and then she just like sighs a little bit. She's like, all right, fine. And then goes back to eating. So Podino, are you going to try to do some sort of skullduggery to try to kill some people or set something up? Maybe try to learn anything about Cat. Oh, okay. So this is the thing. Cadmail's hungover right now. So you do notice that.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I go ask him lots of questions.
Okay.
Like what?
Okay.
What do you call home? That's what I say.
Recently I ran a shop in whatever city we came out of, and I've been living there. For that, I traveled around on a voyage of sorts.
I was a smuggler.
The seas have been my home and the port for a while. That's it. I never really knew our homeland. I was born on a slave ship.
That's very sad. So, you were born in a ship. I was too.
Yeah, I'm gonna make an observation roll.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was wondering if.
See if I can see, because he just sat down. I'm sitting alone.
Yep.
I don't like talking to people.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so something's really off about this Cadmail. He just seems to be very fake about the way he's talking to you.
What seems fake? How are you acting right now, Connor? Like, what's...
I don't seem to be really paying attention to you as much as I am to what you say. You could think that I'm just distracted and that I'm not necessarily paying attention.
Well, see, I don't have any reason to assume ill intentions.
Yeah,
So,
Exactly.
I think I'm gonna say something like, "Are you something happening on the ship, like bodyguard business? You need some info on stuff,
Right.
or what's going on?"
I kind of pause and I'm like, why do you ask?
I don't know. You're drilling me with questions here. I figured, looks like you're trying to get something. I mean, if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. But I'm
sorry. Yeah,
Talia doesn't keep me as updated as I probably should be on what she's doing with the guards on the ship. So
okay. So I'm gonna roll a falsehood then, and I just say, yeah, sorry. I just wanted to know more about you because I'm supposed to be guarding you. I want to learn about your interests, how you do things, so that I can kind of think about where you will be in case I need to figure out where you are, in case there's a threat against your life. I like to know who I'm protecting because it's easier that way.
See, that has the opportunity to just fall flat on its face and look very suspicious. Yeah, so I mean, that seems plausible to you.
I probably just don't care right now.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, sure, whatever.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sounds good. You finish my eggs, or what's left of these eggs.
Honestly, I wouldn't think that was suspicious at all, that I can know where you are at any given time. Like, I would legitimately say that as a bodyguard. I want to know, like, if I need to find you, there's a threat against you. I need to know exactly where you are without having to ask you every time.
Yeah, it was just
Easier on both of us.
since you're so blunt about that.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, you could probably
Okay.
play off as being
Exactly.
noble
And you
savage,
could, but again,
but
it's just a matter
that
of
wouldn't work on me either.
Exactly.
Because I am a dragon blood.
But basically right now is he's hungover. He doesn't care. He's like, whatever, go away.
Yeah, I'm still apathetic about last night, so just want to move on.
All right, let's go ahead and actually take our second break there and be back in 5 minutes. And maybe someone might get stabbed. We'll see. Stick around.
Why is somebody going to get stabbed?
Let's talk about the Gulf of Tehko. This body of water was created long ago when what are now the Tehko and Roshi Islands broke off from the main landmass of Saragon and drifted southward, opening up the sea and inadvertently creating one of the most active economies in the world. While the Gulf used to be in direct and complete control of 4 of the 5 ancient Dragonblood nations, it is now home to many peoples who alternate from trade to war every other decade. The Gulf of Tehko has a half-circle of coastline upon which the nations that are dependent upon its waters live. Let's walk through these nations briefly from west to east now. On the western edge of the Gulf lives the Varudian colonists of New Imhati. Once home to the old empire of the Zay Dragonblood, the Zay are now isolated deep in the jungles and are routinely enslaved by the Varudians if found outside their hidden valleys. The exotic resources of the jungles here have taken the world by storm over the last 100 years or so, and the Varudians have made a fortune trading with the other nations along the Gulf. In the north lies the Kingdom of Sauron, the center of the action in the main campaign of Crow Inquisitors. We've talked about Sauron extensively, but suffice it to say, they are just as involved in trade as any other nation along the Gulf. In the center of the Gulf, and the nation from which the Gulf takes its name, are the Islands of Tehko, an archipelago of beautiful subtropical islands home to the Tehkoni people. While the Tehkoni and the Serrano have often had tense relationships, the cultural exchange between the two peoples has been enormous, and tea can be found in Sauron as easily as incense can be found in Tehko. On the east of the Gulf of Tehko lies the Shoei Empire. Long ago, coming to fill the land where one of the defeated Dragonblood empires once held sway, the Showa people are closely related to the Tehkoni, though the cultural isolation that Tehko underwent for many long years has made them very distinct all the same. Min, the swordsman for the order that was met by the Crow Inquisitors at the end of the first season, hails from Shoei. In the far south, at the border where the Gulf of Tehko turns into the Great Southern Ocean, lies the Roshi Islands, a series of misty isles that are mysterious as they are dangerous. While many legends haunt these shores, no one in modern times has visited the islands and returned to tell the tale. There is far more to explore in the world of Saragon, but for now, let's get back to the action. In the Year of Raging Winds.
we're back. Your Raging Winds. It's going to be a good time. So the breakfast finishes, and what do y'all do? I'm assuming Podino has some sort of plan to go kill someone. Or Josh.
Can I set the ship on fire?
Or kind of, I mean, yeah.
Who's gonna kill someone?
Okay, I set the
Or
ship on
Jontos.
fire.
Not that he would try to kill someone, like just if someone has something they want to do.
No. I'm gonna do some information gathering first.
Okay.
Not honestly sure how Jontos would respond to the fact that his cooking is really bad. I mean, I guess he already knew that. He was just hoping it would be different this time, I think. Like every time.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, last night you could just say, oh, well, that was a fluke, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But now he's starting to realize, this might be a regular thing.
Pretty bad.
But hey, third time's a charm. So if you can get it right on the third time, maybe there's some hope for you after all.
So perhaps then he's going to start planning ahead and preparing ahead.
Absolutely.
For the next meal.
Absolutely.
Would I get some kind of bonus for doing preparation work?
Yeah, I mean, it's always assumed that you're preparing, but if you want to do something more than that, you know, just the normal preparation, which probably should be dice behind it, but
yeah, maybe talking to sailors to find out what they enjoy eating.
Okay, definitely.
And just talking to people around the ship.
Okay.
Persuasion, but I don't know that that's especially helpful here.
Is there like a conversational skill?
There's several conversational skills,
like
and that's really
storytelling or something.
It's not a skill that I have.
Yeah, I know there's this weird thing here where it's not like any skill quite fits what we're trying to do, but I think the best analog for Jontos at this moment is persuasion. So I think it'd just be an odd 1 persuasion test.
Basab, you said it was 2?
1.
Right. Hey.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, you get that information. The sailors seem very eager to give you this information. Yeah, don't burn it next time. But you do get you have an advantage dice on this cooking, the next cooking test that you'll make. Podina, you said you wanted to do some information gathering here?
Yes.
How do you want to go about doing that?
Being conspicuous and letting people say things around me that wouldn't normally say.
Yeah, so go ahead and make an inconspicuous test. This is a matter of like getting into situations where you can just do something not noticed, and then people will talk without realizing you're there.
Okay.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll inconspicuous, and I think the odds going to be probably 2.
1 or 2 Dragonbloods on the ship.
Yeah, again, but like he's established himself as a very like innocent kind of like maybe like he's probably like an air of, hey, he's just a dumb savage, like, you know, this isn't going to matter kind of a thing. Be very subservient, very out of the way, like.
Oh, wow.
Nice. You find out that there's this one sailor that no one really recognizes and no one remembers them being hired. And he's just really obnoxious and nobody really likes him. Well,
is this Adam?
Not necessarily that people don't like him, but he's just very out of place and everybody notices it. Yeah, it's Adam's character. And then you also hear, you know, little rumors along those same veins of like, yeah, and I thought I heard it, like he had a very full purse. I mean, I don't know how he carries that around, but
he has a purse?
Everyone has a purse. Other than that,
carry around all of his cash.
They weren't implying that he was doing it all the time. They just heard him carrying it at some point, and like there were rumors flying around of like, oh, yeah, he jingled a lot. Like,
okay,
ooh,
he could have left that with me.
Again, like what Adam and I established his character as being very not inconspicuous, and so I'm playing that up with all this stuff.
Okay.
He's a very naive nobleman who doesn't understand. He knows enough about a ship to pretend to be a sailor, but not enough to convince people that he actually is one.
Do I get anything else?
Yeah, you also get several people talking about how they want to sleep with Avion's wife. Some of the mercenaries are talking about that.
Okay.
I think you get maybe just a little bit of like resentment towards just the tiniest bit. Resentment towards Jontos of like, man, I really hope that cook knows what he's doing, kind of a thing. And then you also get a little bit of like, I also hope that Cadmail knows what he's doing. Like, he didn't seem very confident the other night. Did you see how he basically drunk himself to death?
I think in my head, I hope I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't think you really get a whole lot of like enemies or anything like that. Like people, a lot of these a lot of these people don't know each other. And they're getting to know each other. Like, this is the crew that, Trevor put together. The captain is a very reserved man. He doesn't really talk a whole lot. He just does his job, tells all the sailors what they're supposed to be doing. But yeah, I mean, these people haven't been to sea long enough. They haven't started hating each other yet.
Okay. So nobody has any other distaste for anybody except for the PCs? Like, is that what I'm hearing right now?
Yes, because this is a very focused game, and those are outside of the scope of this adventure.
Is there anybody on this ship nobody talks about?
The princess?
Well, come on.
No, not really.
Do you know everybody on the ship? How would you know if there's someone that nobody talked about?
I mean, again, you don't know that, so you don't notice any blaring people that are obvious that should be talked about that aren't being talked about. There's none of those kinds of situations. It's just because, again, those are the main things that have happened so far is the meals and the speeches. So yeah, okay. So that's basically all you get. Cadmail, what are you up to?
I'd probably want to meet with Jared's character about the princess and stuff at some point, but I don't know if we want to do that when he's back.
Yeah, that probably makes more sense to do that. And so we can just kind of say that your character's still considering whether to tell anyone.
Yeah.
So where did you hide the princess?
I don't know. That's what I was going to discuss with you as far as how the ship is laid out. So do we only have one ship or do we have multiple?
I think you just have one.
Okay.
It's a nice, sleek ship. It's fast and big enough to be loaded with a sizable amount of cargo. Not a whole bunch, but enough to get the smugglers stuff.
Is Trevor making a delivery?
Basically, the plan is there's a abandoned smugglers cove that he recently learned about that has a bunch of goods still there that they had to abandon, and so you're gonna go pick it up for free and then not have to worry about export tariffs and then go sell it to Saran and get a lot of money, because not only are you letting smugglers do the smuggling for you and not doing the smuggling yourself and getting arrested for it, you don't have to pay for the goods when you buy them. They're just there, you pick them up. So.
Okay, sure.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, where would there be a supply place she could stay in, or
yeah, possibly.
At least for that night.
Mm-hmm. There's probably maybe a supply closet of some sort, like a small pantry or something that you could keep her in, and lock that no one else that have the key in but you, and just make sure that's the case.
I mean, that's what I should be doing. I'm trying to find out where the princess. Well, I don't need to find out where the princess is. I just need to burn the whole ship.
So how does Connor know that she's here?
Intrigue.
Wasn't it a last minute, Adam needed to get her out, so she got her out? So how did Connor know? How would they have had any information on that?
Well, because that's the thing, they were trying to kill her in the town for a long time, and they had kept not being able to. Podino got into, Avion's good graces and was hired by Avion probably a few weeks ago to be able to get at the princess, because he's in the noble court intrigue situation. And so he did that specifically to be able to be in the noble court and not be suspicious, and then be able to find the princess and kill her. But now the princess is here, and it's just a stroke of luck that Avion happened to be going on the same ship. And the Assassin's Guild is oh yeah, definitely, you are the assassin who, they probably had multiple assassins trying to kill the princess. But it's all right, Podino, this is your job. You're going to go on this ship with Avion, and you're going to kill the princess. So someone saw them running down to the docks, and so they have, there's rumors or something, they have an idea that maybe she went on this ship, and he was planning on going on this voyage with Avion anyway. He wasn't supposed to, just kill anyone. The Assassin's Guild they hadn't given him a mission or anything like that. But now they're hey, the princess might be on your ship. Figure out if she is, and kill her if she's on there.
So I probably put her in a room with supplies that I knew wouldn't have been used yet.
Sure, yep.
But as we go along on the voyage, they're going to be used, so she has to be moved.
Yeah, definitely.
Somewhere else.
That makes sense.
Eventually. So we got to find a more permanent place for her to stay.
And really, that's probably going to have to involve someone else. So someone else is going to have to know about the princess so that they can help that situation. Because if it's just you,
Yeah.
I'm thinking it might be possible to bring the cook into this
Yeah.
and
that's what I
have
was
him,
thinking.
have
Maybe
him hide her in a
kitchens
pantry or something.
The pantry, would be a good place.
John wouldn't really particularly care. I mean, opportunity to hide a beautiful woman in his pantry?
Oh dear.
Get in my pantry.
Yeah, so Cadmail, do you go down and like check on the princess
I don't
then?
know what to say.
To go to move her kind of a thing? Or do you want to talk to John Toast beforehand? Like how do you want to do this?
Yeah, I guess I'd probably talk with John Toast first. Maybe not bring up the princess yet, but just gauge his trustworthiness.
Sure.
Like we chat about a dinner meal plan, breakfast.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't think Cadmail would have thought that the food is too bad.
Sure.
Pay attention, man.
All right, so Cadmail walks into the kitchen, whereas John Toast is hard at work. He has a list of all the suggestions made by the people, and he's though I don't know he knows how to read, so he probably just actually has it all in his memory.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That might have been the instigating thing too. If you wanted to ask me about my food preferences.
That's an option.
Right.
It would at least open the conversation when you enter the room. If you've got...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let's say Cadmail walks in to like talk to John Toast, and then John Toast, you're like, oh hey, I forgot to ask him about his.
Evening to you, Cadmail.
Hello, John Toast. How's it going?
Well, I don't really know. Got myself I got myself in my head a long list of many ideas for food, but I don't know what to make offhand. So many options. What are your favorite foods?
Well, I'm not too picky myself. Honestly, anything besides hardtack would get me out of bed.
Cadmail, not hardtack. I'll make note of that. Although, to be honest, further down the line, there's not going to be much avoiding hardtack. You grow used to it. Once I was on a voyage and there was an old sailor, been sailing for now 70 years. The man couldn't stand any food other than hardtack, and he'd gnaw it all day long, and you could hear him crunching away at it. We'd be all trying to sleep, and there he'd be in his hammock crunching away at some hardtack. It got to be super annoying. And at one point in the voyage, men tried to throw him overboard. 3 big burly guys, and the man just rammed a thing of hardtack in each of their mouths. Well, the bosun found out, and those 3 men, they got a taste of the cat in the night on the yardarm. That straightened them right up.
Oh, I love your character so much.
Yes. That, yeah. He just kind of nods. Yep.
Now, what can I do for you? It came down, so you must be looking for something.
What time is it?
Oh, just before noon.
Okay. Well, I wanted to double check your pantry supplies, if you don't mind.
Oh, go
That's
right
the first
ahead.
thing.
Just don't move anything, and do not put the fish on top of the fruit. You
All
wouldn't
right.
believe the incompetence of some of the cabin boys and the duck hands we had in here earlier.
And there's actually one of those people who's helping you like prepare the meals, and he looks over and is like, hey!
Present company excluded, of course.
All right then.
You're the one who put the onions next to the fruit.
Hey, well, I don't know how to do this stuff. I just know how to chop things. And he holds up his hand, and he's missing like a couple fingers.
Right. You do that. Let's get back to it. Those potatoes won't cook themselves.
Well, maybe they will if you stop jabbering.
This point, John Horse is just...
Pantry look as far as a possible spot for the princess.
John Toast, how does the pantry look?
It's cluttered and fairly well traveled, at least by me.
Is there a secret hiding spot that you could hide your liquor that the princess might conveniently fit into?
Oh, absolutely. Whether or not I'm going to tell anyone about
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Do I see any? Can I make a
You make an
would it be an
observation.
observation?
Yeah, because you're trying to find something that's hidden rather than you're just trying to like scan something. You're just like, all right, what does it look like? That'd be perception, but
Well, I mean, I don't know that I'm looking for anything.
fair enough.
particular.
Yeah. So go make a perception check then. Graduated, so 1. Yeah, I mean, it again, that's cluttered. A lot of it is like, there might be other things behind these boxes that like you can't see. Like there's a lot of boxes and stuff, a lot of crates, a lot of barrels, very cluttered. And so it's very possible that there might be other compartments that you're not seeing.
Okay.
At this point, John Toast just assumes he's doing numbers and whatever else is required by him being an accountancy person. He's not real concerned other than that he not be moving stuff
here.
too much.
I might as well do that. So, accounting roll.
All right. What do you have in accounting?
3.
All right, just make it an odd 1. Nice.
Boot.
Nailed that. Yeah, so you
count stuff real well.
You take very accurate records.
So accurate. Okay, I don't know that I have much choice other than to really trust John Chess at the moment, though. So, as far as if we need to move her soon,
How do you approach the conversation?
I don't know.
So Cadvale stands there for a little while, and he probably is taking notes, but he's not really taking notes.
I'm doing numbers. I'm accounting.
That's certainly all that John Toast can see is numbers and accounting. All that stuff that he never needed, never wanted.
Exactly, but what I was implying is like he had finished those, and now he's like deliberating, how do I start this conversation? And he just keeps writing numbers, even though he's done.
But he's not even looking at what he's writing.
Yeah, but you can't tell.
That's true. I don't know that John Toast would be able to tell one way or another whether he's even doing work or not.
Is anyone else around as far as...
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 other like helpers that are, helping cut up things and stuff like that.
All right. Well, I wouldn't want to bring it up right now then in front of other people. So probably invite him, and then when I meet with Jared's character, invite him to my cabin for that meeting tonight.
And you immediately broach it as a sort of like, hey, this is an accounting meeting. Like, I want to brief you about accounting things.
Would you be willing to come to a meeting tonight to weigh in on the food supply situation here? I can do the numbers, but as far as actual portions for meals and stuff, I don't really know about that.
I suppose, so long as it's after dinner and no one comes into the galley while I'm out.
It'll be tonight after dinner.
Right. Seeing as kind of part of my job description, I guess I'll show up for it.
Sweet, thanks. I've got a good bottle of wine I've been saving. Maybe crack that open too. Little incentive for you.
So if we were if we're once we get to the trait vote, I think I'm probably gonna have to nominate drunk as a trait for Trevor's character. I have a feeling that's where this is going. Lover of wine.
He spends a lot of time alone. I mean,
fair enough.
Doing numbers and stuff.
Fair enough. Podito, what trouble are you getting into while this conversation is going on?
He's standing right there, in between us. I don't even know.
Inconspicuous role.
Yes.
Sort of. I'm
just here, not doing anything. He's stabbing one of the helpers, and he just rolls so high that you just don't notice.
I'm just giving him a massage.
What? I didn't do anything.
With my knife.
I'm doing acupuncture.
I am searching for the princess.
It's an ancient Zay tradition.
Yeah.
Knife acupuncture.
You guys never heard about that?
It's like acupuncture, but instead of puncturing nerves, you puncture their arteries.
Perfectly normal thing.
Targeted bloodletting.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll an observation test, Connor. Graduated.
Modifiers? That's the question.
I would say you might be able to add in assassination-wise.
Princess-wise?
All right, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, assassination-wise, it makes sense.
We don't have a slave deck, do we? All right, based up.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a question I wanted to ask, Trevor. I'm assuming you don't have slaves on this ship?
Yeah, I probably would have
convinced him out of it. And
wasn't I thought you said he freed his wife from being a slave. Too,
Yes,
so
he's not
Evian
super.
was
Yeah, he's not super towards slavery either. So
Yeah.
All right, I just want to make sure. All right.
Hey.
fired.
Oh man, you got 2 6s there. I would re-roll those.
Yeah.
Neither of those are successes. Yeah, so you got a 3. Where would you have been looking?
That would be assassination wise, is what I would add in there. That's
Right.
what I'm doing with that.
Where people would hide when they're being hunted. Yeah, stuff like that. So where did you hide the princess, Trevor, or Cadmail?
I look there.
No, because I'm just wondering what hints I should give him. You could have just had like a closet or something in your cabin.
True. That would have been awkward, though.
A little bit. It's up to you. What do you
It's
think?
only awkward if you make it awkward.
Or, yeah. We'll see.
Okay.
There for now.
Codino, so I think the obvious thing would be to look in his cabin, right? Not necessarily because you suspect him of harboring her per se. You just know that she might be on the ship. You don't know what, like how or why, like, but that might be one place you would look. The thing is, though, because it's a high profile or whatever, because if he does suspect you, that would be the place to look. But I don't know if he does. It's up to you, Connor. But the thing with getting into his cabin would be to do it without being noticed. And that, that's a role in and of itself. So where would you be looking?
Anywhere I would think a princess would be hiding.
I mean, that could be anywhere on the ship. So you're just scouring the ship?
In the castle.
I mean, obviously.
No, in another castle. Not this castle.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
I'm just looking for any place that I think I would find the princess.
Okay.
Just go on my roll.
Yeah, I mean, you don't find her. So.
Okay.
Do you keep your cabin locked, Trevor? Or Cadmail?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
I got all my books and stuff.
Right.
in there.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So yeah, I think that's that and the captain's quarters, the first mate's quarters, and Avian and Talia's quarters. Those are the only rooms that are locked. You can pretty much go anywhere else. But yeah, you don't find any clue of her being there. I think you do notice again, though, Adam's character. I think he's slinking around at one point. And you're not sure what he's up to, but he looks weird. He looks out of place.
I mean, I don't confront him or anything.
Okay,
'cause he's
that's
not
fine.
here, so
I'm just wondering. Yeah, so you're looking around, you don't find anything. It seems like everything's leading up to you. Jared and Adam need to be here.
Yep. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and break, come back, do fate, and then just call it a night.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
We're almost done with today's episode. Let's check in with our characters' beliefs, instincts, and traits, and see if they earned any Artha.
All right, so let's go ahead and finish this up and give you guys some fate points. Let's start with you, Connor.
I want to kill everyone on the ship. I will start by trying to befriend Avian's wife.
You tried.
Okay.
So you
I'll make sure that the princess dies, even if nobody else does. I will start by learning Cadmiel's weak points.
You tried. Yeah.
Words are more dangerous than knives, so I'll make sure innocence is always on my side.
Yep.
Okay, and then always go for the throat. I didn't fight anybody. Always be planning for the worst to happen. I mean, yeah.
None of those got you into trouble, though. I don't think.
Yeah, always try to shift the blame to someone else.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting if that ever gets me into trouble.
Yeah. It doesn't look like any of your traits really got you into trouble either. So.
Yeah.
All right, so just 3 fate. Jantos.
I want to make the best of my new situation, so I will try to make friends with the crew. I think I worked toward that by looking for their favorite foods and trying to be
Nice.
nice and friendly.
Yeah.
And My brother has made the best of what life has given him. I will try to do the same. I'll start by finding something to be better at. I'm not sure that I want to hang on to this one quite so much, mainly because I don't know that I'll have time in the short campaign to actually do anything with this.
Yeah.
Something more along the lines of, I've been unhappy, but I don't want other people to be unhappy, so I'll cheer them up with stories or something like that.
Okay, sure. Okay.
So that I pay for my stories.
Definitely.
And my brother got me this job as a cook, so I'll be the best flaming cook I can be.
You're trying so hard. It's gonna. I love that because of the way this game is structured. Anything like that can have stakes to it, right? Because you have to make these rolls, and right now, one of the most tense things that's been happening. There's an assassin aboard this ship, and the most tense thing for me has been whether or not Jantos is gonna cook the food right. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I will always look for the best in a situation. Hasn't gotten me into trouble yet.
Mm-hmm.
Always have a good story. I think that got Cadmail into trouble more than it did me, honestly.
Yeah, I can definitely see that getting you fate at some point. One of these times you're gonna tell a story, and it's gonna be the wrong time to tell a story.
Yeah. If there's drinking to be done, I'll be part of it. I haven't really gotten in trouble for that yet.
Yeah, you haven't actually, I don't think you drank anything yet.
Not on screen.
Yeah. No, Cadmiel was like, "Hey, if you come with me, I got wine."
That's true.
He's like, "Yeah."
Right. But then didn't get him into trouble.
Josh?
Yes, he does have the trait drunk.
I do that.
Oh.
I haven't had the opportunity yet.
This is going to be great because literally, like, Cadmail offered, like, he's like, "Hey, let's drink some wine and talk about stuff, dude." He's like, "Yeah, let's do this." So many opportunities for bad things to happen. I like this.
Mm-hmm. Character traits: drunk, maggot connoisseur, mercantile, light blonde hair, determined, crippled, unlucky. I would say that one came into play here. Unable to make good meals.
Sure. Yep. Take it.
And sea legs and charismatic. Neither of those got me into trouble.
Yeah, not really. Cool. I like it. You got a lot of faith.
That's 4.
Yeah. Cadmerosos.
I will make sure the venture succeeds. I will start by bringing us to Smuggler's Cove. I mean, I've been working on supplies and things.
Exactly. Yep. Take fate for that.
I want to build a positive reputation. I will start by getting the respect of my crew.
I tried. Yep, you're working towards it.
I want to help these royals, but I can't interfere with the mission. I will find someone I can trust, put my confidence in.
You're working towards it, so take fate.
Always assume that people think the worst of me. Probably contributed to the speech.
Yeah, I think I'll let you. Yeah, go ahead and take fate for that because it was the whole thing of being so nervous that kind of got you worked up into that.
Always trust the numbers. I didn't really.
It hasn't gotten you into trouble.
No trouble. I never let people know about my literacy. It wasn't too much trouble to come from that, but that would have been the initial reason I didn't want them to come into my cabin.
Right.
At the beginning.
Yeah. So if that would have turned into something worse, then you might have gotten fate for it. Yeah. Take fate for paranoid, because you played that so well the whole time, and it was good.
It didn't seem like anyone really called me out on culture traits.
Cool. So that's 5 for you. All right. Well, that was a great game. I'm glad we got to do this. I'm excited to see what horrible things are going to happen next session. Because what's going to happen is you guys are all going to meet. Adam's going to cause some sort of uproar because he's going to maybe want to see the princess or something. And then Podino's going to come in and kill everyone. He's going to stab everyone to death.
I like that last part. That's a good.
It's going to be a great time. All right, cool. Well,
okay.
And on that horrible note, have a good night, guys.
That was episode 2 of Year of Raging Winds. I hope you've enjoyed the story so far. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode.